So you clicked on this random video of this random guy that you've probably never seen. So let me tell you right off the bat why you're here. I am here to give you a wake-up call. That discipline alone is not going to get you the results that you're looking for, and that you are being sold a lie when they tell you that all you need is discipline. As somebody that once gave into the lie that you are currently believing, I want to save you an abundant amount of time, abundant amount of misunderstanding, and allow you to make progress in your life 10 times faster. So right off the bat, I'm going to tell you exactly how this is going to go for you. You finally got so sick of your own shit that you finally actually made a goal for yourself. And you've been showing up. Maybe you've been showing up for 2 weeks so far. Maybe you've been showing up for 2 months. Maybe it's even been 6 months. But still, you're stuck in the same spot. You feel like you're doing everything that you can, you're showing up every single day, but things aren't happening the way that you anticipate. That's because the ability to have discipline, quite frankly, means nothing anymore. It only makes you better than the average person. But as somebody seeking self-improvement, you most likely want to become an elite person that accomplishes things that most people never accomplish. And so you're no longer competing with the average person, you're competing with the 1%. If you're watching this video, you're most likely a man. And your first form of discipline, let me guess, is probably the gym. And now that you're showing up to the gym every single day, you think that somehow you are a powerhouse that cannot be stopped, and you are in your redemption arc. But after becoming consistent in the gym for about 6 months or a year, you realize that there is more to life than going to the gym. You realize that you taking care of your body is actually kind of a form of the bare minimum. And so no longer do you give yourself too much credit for showing up to the gym every day, and you finally see it for what it is, the bare minimum, and one piece of the puzzle. And you should be proud of yourself. It takes a lot to develop physical discipline. It reflects a level of self-care that a lot of people don't have. But again, you're not trying to be like most people. You're trying to exceed everything that is mediocre about life. And I was just like you. I started going to the gym consistently. I started tracking my calories. I started tracking my workouts. I started making great progress in the gym. Matter of fact, in my first serious year of lifting, I put on 60 pounds from my starting weight. But when the high runs out and you realize that that alone isn't going to fulfill you, you look around and realize that, hey, there's more to life than this, and there is more skills that I must develop in order to become the person that I truly want to be. You probably heard somebody else on YouTube tell you that life is a video game. And while I do believe that that shit is extremely corny, I have to back them up on this one. Because life really is a game. And every time you develop a new skill, you level up in the video game. And I like to say that discipline would be level 1 in this game of self-improvement. You now show up for yourself. You now build trust with yourself, which is still extremely important for your foundation and for the reason why you're doing what you're doing. Because discipline speaks many different volumes. It says that you can trust yourself. It says that other people can trust you. It says that you respect yourself. It says that you love yourself enough that even when it's uncomfortable, you still show up for yourself. But there is plenty of hyper-disciplined men that stay average and then end up giving up. And the problem isn't that you are chasing discipline. You are on the right track. But it's your expectation of discipline and the entitlement you have to the results of discipline that are bringing you issues into your life. You think now that you are disciplined and you show up for yourself and respect yourself that you're entitled to having a Lambo in your driveway. And when you don't get that feeling or that celebration of achievement early on, then you go back to your own ways. And this works in stages. You're disciplined for 2 weeks. You start getting excited because you're finally doing the thing. And then you're disciplined for 2 months. And you start thinking, hey, I could really do this. What other ways can I become disciplined? But at the same time, your mind is fighting you every single day like psychological warfare for you to become who you used to be. Your mind is fighting for that comfort. Your mind is fighting for that safety that it always had before when you didn't show up for yourself. So now you have to push through that barrier as well. And then you hit 6 months of discipline. And this is where you have gone too far for it ever to make sense for you to go back. So now you have hit a checkpoint in the video game to where it doesn't make sense for you to turn around and be the person that you used to be. The voice in your head that I like to call the little bitch voice, quite frankly, never goes away. Your mind is always going to try to trick you into being your old self. It is always going to try to trick you into being comfortable, into keeping yourself safe. So when you push the limits of discipline and you do things that you don't want to do when you don't want to do them, your mind is going to raise every single red flag against you. And it is going to tell you to go back to playing Fortnite, jerking off, and eating Cheetos on the couch. But again, around the 6-month mark to a year, this starts to disappear. Not fully, you're still going to hear that voice, but you have way more control over your mind. You realize that your mind has always been lying to you, and you should quite frankly do the opposite of what it tells you to do. So congratulations, you have passed level 1 of the video game. But now you realize that success takes a lot more skills than discipline alone. And discipline is not a short-term thing. You should not think, oh, if I lock in for a year, then I will be rich. If I lock in for 2 years, I will be hyper successful. You need to lock in for the rest of your life if you're going to have a chance of competing with other disciplined men. I saw this clip of Rick Rubin, a music mogul who has won many Grammys in many different genres, pretty much a musical genius. And in this clip, he coined the term lazy workaholic. He described himself as somebody that constantly wants to do nothing, but constantly still does everything. He described himself as somebody that would rather just sit around and relax, but still he shows up for himself every single day and he creates because he knows it's bigger than himself. The reason I bring this up is because the reason that Rick Rubin can show up every time he doesn't want to is because the reason why he developed discipline in the first place is strong enough to keep him in the game. A lot of you have short-term discipline. You've been disciplined for the year or the 2, and now you think that you are untouchable. You think that you are bulletproof. But since now you're disciplined, you stop pushing yourself. You stopped thinking outside of the box. You stopped making yourself uncomfortable celebrating this one milestone that only got you 10% of the way there. You need to continue to build up this proof over your lifetime that will eventually accumulate into an irrefutable stack of evidence proving that you are who you say you are. And nobody that looks at you will be able to deny the fact that you are valuable, you have skills, and you deserve to be rewarded for that. But this is not done overnight, and it's not done in 2 years. You have to be willing to stay in the fight for 10 years, 20 years, for the rest of your life until God takes you off of this earth. And that's why your why has to be strong. The reason why you started self-improvement in the first place, the reason why you developed discipline in the first place. Is it out of vain? Is it selfish? Is it for the validation from other people? Is it so that people perceive you a certain way? Is it to acquire status, money, and monetary things that don't last and will never fulfill you? Or is your discipline centered in making an impact on other people's lives? Is it centered in self-love? Is it centered in showing up for yourself because you realize that life is enough of a gift to try to chase your full potential? Which brings back the Rick Rubin example. If Rick Rubin gave into his mind the lazy part of that phrase, then he would be an average bum on the street. He would probably accomplish nothing and be another lost musician that never made it. But because Rick Rubin knows that his mind constantly lies to him, he goes the opposite direction. And because he has a reason that is bigger than himself, in order to impact other people, he will show up even when he does not want to. The ultimate cheat code to discipline, to work ethic, is having a reason why you're doing the work that is bigger than yourself. It must be bigger than who you are. It must not all be for your own selfish desires. Because when you go in your head on those days where your mind is telling you to lay in bed longer, to not go to the gym, to not make the video, to not make the song, then you're just going to give into it. Because it's all about you. And you're thinking about your personal comfort. But when the why is rooted in impact of others, your mind will go to, well, if I don't show up right now, if I don't make that video, if I don't make that piece of art, then it is a disservice to anyone that could be impacted by it. And that alone is your first cheat code to the video game. Make it bigger than yourself, and you will never not show up for yourself for the rest of your life. My next point would be that discipline doesn't give you other skills. It gives you a solid foundation, like I said before. Discipline doesn't give you risk tolerance. Discipline doesn't always give you confidence, and discipline doesn't always change your circumstances. Self-discipline unifies you so much more internally than it does externally. And of course, we don't live for monetary value. We don't live for rewards if we're doing it for the right reason. But nobody sees what you're doing in the dark. Nobody sees the work that you're putting in. So for a long time, nothing is going to change at all. You're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to have better self-image, but it is still your duty to push past that and develop these other skills that are going to give you enough value to accomplish your goal. And you not only need to have discipline, because you can have discipline while completely hating yourself in your entire life and the thing that you are a slave to be disciplined to. You can have discipline and be completely depressed, completely anxious, and completely out of your mind. So there is many other psychological skills that you must develop on top of discipline that are going to give you the internal locus of control in order to stay the course and finally reach that finish line. Some skills that you need to focus on immediately are self-awareness, awareness of others, the skill of time management, the skill of financial literacy, the skill of communication, the skill of storytelling. I just named about 5 other skills that you're going to need if you really want to build this business that you dream about. But the beautiful part of this is that you're not alone. I'm still learning a lot of these skills myself. I just share as I go along on the journey, which I still have way further to go, what I have struggled with, what I have had to realize, so I can save you an abundant amount of time. So consider me your edgy looking YouTube self-improvement mentor, but also know that I have lived every single thing that I am telling you about. Every video I have ever posted is not from a book or another YouTuber. It's from my real life. I have such an obsession with helping people, impacting people, understanding the human mind, understanding psychology, awareness, all of these things. And as I learn and experience, I want to bring you guys in on it, and I want us to learn together. So if you're tired of feeling isolated in this pursuit of purpose, in this pursuit of becoming an elite type of person, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. It's completely free, it takes 2 seconds, and I post multiple YouTube videos per week. Until next time, see you later.